Wait. Who? Potato pie?
Potato pie.
Oh man, we on? All right, we're ready, y'all. We're live. We're live here at Lights Out with Lou Savarese, myself, Jeff Michael, and Grant Miles. Man, we got another packed show for you tonight. We've been off because of some incredibly bad weather that happened in Houston the past week. Man, I hope everybody made it all right. I hope you guys are good. But we're going to get this show going, man. This is going to be a fun show. We've got comedian Dan Green calling in a little bit.
Yeah.
We're over here at Savarese Fight Fit with Lou Savarese. Tell us what you got over here.
We're at Savarese Fight Fit, our gym over here. We got a lot of great equipment. The classes are amazing. We're really blowing up. It's getting really, really busy, so it's a good thing, and we're happy about that. And, it's been a rough time in Houston. I mean, we had a little bit of a storm, and it was crazy. So a lot of people, my hearts go out to them and everything. There's still people without power. I don't know about you guys, but my daughter doesn't go back to school till Monday. So she's off the whole week.
Yeah, my son didn't go back till Tuesday. Wow. They were still out.
No, but my daughter's not going back till.
She's out this whole week still.
Yeah, HST's still out.
Well, because we have problems. The food in the schools went bad because no electricity, obviously, and then a bunch of pipes burst in all these schools, which is crazy, right? So, we're glad everybody's safe. We're glad that we can get this back up. I had some extensive dams. I had 2 pipes bust in my house and flooded my whole first floor.
Can we? Should we temporarily maybe change the name?
What? To
Lights On or something?
lights on.
For real.
Welcome to Lights On.
But you know what's crazy, though, about you, Jeff? As I was watching this, I was like, dude, stop videoing your leak and turn the water off. You were videoing and like water's coming out. I was like, dude, Jeff,
the same thing.
Turn off your water. Stop worrying about the video.
So you have
the show must go on.
You got to understand, So when you have a leak in your walls like that, you don't know where the leak's coming from. So I had to cut the water back on, go find where it is, and then punch a hole in the wall and figure out, where it was. So
like this dude's video, he's like
the whole time while taping.
He's like Spielberg in his water leak. Like, look at this.
Shit.
Hey,
anyways,
dude, it hadn't even been a couple minutes, man.
Welcome to Lights Out with Lou Savarese, myself, Jeff Michael, Grant Miles. We've got a great show, like I said a minute ago. Johnny J, appreciate you in the house as usual. We're over here at Savarese Fight Fit on Bel Air. You got another one downtown.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna get into Derek Lewis in a minute because I know that he trains down there. Or you fought with him?
No, I never fought with him. I've been training with him, but never fought him. He was always a UFC guy. I was never a UFC guy.
We're gonna get into that here in a little bit.
You did one though, right?
I did. Yeah.
Yeah. You did one UFC fight.
Yes.
You did a UFC fight?
Not UFC. It was MMA. I did one MMA fight.
What happened?
I won. Thank God.
Was it a competitive one?
Yeah, it was a real one. It was professional. Yeah. So
how do I not know this?
I have no idea. Thanks,
God, Grant, what the hell? You made me look like shit over here.
Thanks for doing your due diligence.
Yeah. See, I do research on you, man.
The guy's name was Tim Pitts or something. I can't remember. But I fought the guy who was a big dude, and my trainer was. Do you guys remember a guy named Saul Solis?
Saul Solis. That sounds familiar.
Yeah, he's probably one of the earliest MMA coaches here in Houston. And really, really cool cat, but he's amazing. Little guy, he's probably like, maybe 5'2", 5'3". You talk about humbling, getting tapped out by Hervé.
5'2", 5'3".
Yeah, and getting tapped out by Hervé Villachet. You feel like I'm like, God, you talk about humbling.
What's up, Lottie? Thank you for tuning in. John, Gary, everybody, man, everybody's tuning in. Y'all ask some questions if you want to. We've got an hour on here. We'll try to get to them as much as we possibly can.
Nobody knows who Hervé Villachet is.
I was gonna say, in case nobody knows, I knew exactly.
The plane.
If you don't know who he is, you got to look him up. That dude was what you would call, I don't know, what's the right word now? Little person?
No, vertically challenged.
Vertically challenged.
Guido says he knocked the guy down and went to his corner.
No, I did.
Is that what happened?
I just, I've been boxing a long time. It's a very, very legitimate, it could happen to anybody. I knocked him down and everybody screaming, hit him, but I went to the neutral corner.
I just out of habit.
Yeah, I was still thinking boxing. And my trainer was screaming.
You walked off instead of getting on him?
Yeah, I went to the neutral corner.
Oh, man.
That's great,
I wanted to
dude.
give him a chance.
Why'd you only do one?
That's a good question. You know what? I realized too. With the just to get really good at it, you had to be you really had to learn somewhat of the grappling, and it's just not my thing. I mean, I know you guys like rolling around with dudes, but it's just not my thing.
That's
so.
Jeff.
Wait, what?
That's Jeff.
What? I'm
Like
not.
that to get knocked down by it. We have no choice.
Dude,
Nah,
okay.
it's just not my thing. It's not my thing.
Yeah,
already-
I don't see you grappling. I don't see you being that
I'm not
guy.
a great grappler.
No. Is that how somebody would get you? Just
They
grab?
all, well, it was cool. My coach was so versed. He knew that most of the guys were going to try and do a single leg. They would come in, and it was so true. They would come in and try and go for my leg. So we knew we couldn't get really, very good at jiu-jitsu in a short period of time. So what we did, we just had guys. It was really cool. We had all kinds of guys just trying to take me down. Do you remember Marlon Greenwood, the football player?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was one of the guys too, because he just started boxing, so we had him. He would try and tackle me. He was cool. It was really cool.
How long did you train for that?
About 8 months.
Damn.
Yeah, because I started contemplating doing it, and then I trained, and then we got a fighter. So
Did you know immediately after it, you're like, I'm not doing this anymore?
no, more. Yeah, I did, but I knew during the training too, because it just I feel like I'm kind of I'd like to be really good at something. I don't want to be like not
I heard
average,
that. Yeah.
But on the flip side, it's gotten a lot better. But I would notice that guys, all my sparring partners, that were mostly MMA guys. It's weird. They wouldn't go. They always go straight forward or back. They wouldn't go side to side. I'm noticing now they're doing it more. And I would give them a lot of problems with that from a boxing standpoint.
Yeah. Cool, man.
Well,
Yeah, Jeff, you got to learn more about Lou, man.
Don't worry about it, buddy. Savarese, S-A-V.
Yeah. Yes.
Speaking of that, how do people? What's the pronunciation of your? So I would say Lou Savarese. What is the pronunciation?
It depends where you are. When I first moved down there, I was Lou Savarese. They were all saying my name was Savarese, and then it's Lou Savarese. In Italy, you say Savarese.
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 And you
So
are.
is that family background Italian?
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we're from a town called Vica Quenz. It's right by Sorrento.
Okay.
Yeah, we all know exactly where
Yeah.
that is.
That
One
place, you're right. Okay, I remember
I've traveled a lot, man. Been to a bunch of places. I've never been to Italy, and that's
gotta go. It's
man.
unbelievable.
I would
It's
love to go to Italy.
I went with the most eclectic group of guys last 2 years ago. We went 12 guys. Some of the biggest. It was the most eclectic group of guys. We had one guy, Big Joe, who was in Rikers for I think he did 8 years in Rikers,
Damn.
wrongly incarcerated. Then we had
Of course, right? Nobody's rightly incarcerated.
we had another guy. This guy made me look small, by the way. And then we had another guy that was. We stayed at his wife's mansion, the Bulgari, the watch company.
Yeah.
He married one of the Bulgaris, and it was
Ooh.
yeah,
He
Bulgari.
married good.
Oh, he did. Yes,
he did. He did
place,
just
it was
fine.
so cool. But it was the most eclectic group of guys ever, so it was cool.
I wonder, Kanye and Kim got divorced. Is that marrying good? Because they both have money, right? So
Hey, they're both richer now before they got married.
did you
so
see
it
this,
worked
Lou,
out.
where Kanye and Kim got divorced,
Yeah,
and
I
then
was really
and then
taking that shot.
you're upset about that, huh?
That's why I was late. Sorry.
That's why you were late. Yeah, Kanye blamed it on his presidency run. So go figure.
Do you keep up with celebrity stuff? Like, do you know what's going on out there in the world?
Well, the problem is I'm not really. Can you even watch TV anymore? It's like I don't know.
People get their news from like different channels, right? Like social media. By the way, your brother John, he said you were adopted. So
Yeah, right.
because Lou was adopted.
They were adopted. He was the only one who had blonde hair and blue eyes.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
All right, man. Welcome into
And
Lights
he didn't
Out.
have
With,
much athletic ability too. Me and my other brother.
So he could be the one that's
I
adopted.
think he's adopted.
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
there you go, John. Welcome into Lights Out with Lou Savarese. We're over here at Savarese Fight Fit. Myself, Jeff Michael, Grant Miles, and Lou Savarese. So we want to open the show like we did last week, talking about one of your previous fights, and I think Grant had pulled up a fight versus Whitaker that he wanted to go over.
Yeah, man. So I looked up that fight just because, of course, we can wear out talking about Evander Holyfield and all that, but the one against Whitaker stuck out to me because that was right after you fought James Douglas, and Whitaker came into that fairly young as far as his boxing career goes,
And he was
undefeated.
He was on the peak of his career,
Right, undefeated. And so what do you remember about the fight?
Well, it was everybody was saying it was kind of a dangerous fight. Obviously, the guy's huge. He was 6'10", I believe. I don't know what his stats were. He was short. No, I'm thinking Michael Grant. He was 6'8". They called him he literally changed his name to Goofy. I don't know why, but he went by Mount Whitaker.
Yeah, 6'8".
Yeah, but he legally changed his name to Goofy. But the dude
Was he
besides me-
southpaw or
No, he was Orthodox, but he was together. The guy was ripped, man. It was amazing. Really big dude. So the one thing I remember when we went to when we walked into the ring, he stepped over the ropes, and I was like, "Oh shit, this guy's big." And I met him at the press conference, and we didn't really talk at all, but I couldn't believe how big he was. But I didn't realize how big he was until I got in the ring. It was huge. Man.
Well, they called him Mount, right?
Yeah,
Mount Whitaker.
Yeah, that was his name. You don't see too many small guys named Mount.
Oh no, absolutely. I mean, the dude. He weighed more than you did. He was taller than you, and he weighed more than you. Correct?
Yeah.
I think he was around like 256. You were around 240 something.
Yeah, he was put together, and it was a cool fight because my whole, which isn't usually my thing, but I was just trying to get inside on him, keep going, and I kept him backing up really good. But he caught me. I forget what round it was. The 6th round. He caught me. I went down, but thank God I had some experience because if I would have jumped right back up, I probably would have lost the fight. But I took a knee. He was hitting me. He didn't knock me down. I went on my own volition. I took a knee, and I got a rest. It was great, and then he came back and threw like probably 20.
Well, hold on. Like you said, you got a rest. So we talked right before we came on air. We talked a second ago. You said it was a smart move to get that rest.
Yeah, I wouldn't have done it if it was earlier in my career. I had a lot of experience then, so I knew.
So he hit you, and you're like, hold on, let me take.
No,
this
he hit me about 6 times, and I knew I was getting hurt more, and I just took a knee and got the rest and took that instead of trying to get back up or try and stay up too. So it was really a smart move. In retrospect, it won the fight for me because he came back and then just unloaded and punched himself out, and I won. I think the next 6 rounds. So.
Yeah, so that's what was crazy about the fight was watching it. Is I wonder, were you at all surprised? Well, first off, just so you know, the punch total in that round in 6th, he threw 122. You threw 59.
Whoa!
I mean,
okay.
That's not good.
And one of the things that I saw.
59. Excuse me for that.
No, that's
59 is that's a pretty good amount, but 100, that's crazy.
I mean, that dude was just
that's like middleweight.
That dude was throwing.
So that lends itself to what I said. He punched himself out. I didn't know that he had that. Man, he learned something new every day. But he that's why. I mean, he was
almost like a rope-a-dope.
Yeah.
Well, and it was funny because in the 7th round, I remember watching the fight, and in the 6th, he was pretty heavy on you. Like you said, I mean, he was getting some good blows. It almost kind of, like you said, it almost acted like in the 7th round he was worn out. Like he was. I mean, he had no energy in the 7th round.
You just explained the reason why. I mean, that's for a heavyweight. That's unbelievable.
He threw 28 in the 7th.
Okay, I have a question.
That's cool.
Wow. So he did one.
He did 122 in the 6th, and he threw 28 in the 7th.
I wonder if his corner, like, is this something that happens?
So good you do your due diligence.
I know, right?
Right?
Absolutely.
Is this what they do? Like, do you think his corner was like, okay, they saw something in the 5th, and they were like, you know what? Go out there and try to knock him out.
You know, it's funny, not to make it about me, but one of the biggest mistakes, if by far the biggest mistake I ever made in my boxing career in the ring was, and it was a conscious decision, was when I fought Holyfield, and it's going to play into this. Is when I fought Holyfield, I had him hurt. I knew he was hurt, and I didn't capitalize because I actually thought in the ring. I kind of slowed down. I thought to myself, I was in camp. But people didn't know about Evander. He didn't have a huge max VO2. He usually later rounds, he got a little bit tired, but he didn't. I mean, he actually got stronger.
He kept going.
So that wasn't bad enough. After the fight, we know each other. He said, "White man," he said, "you should have jumped on me. I had me hurt." I'm like, "Son of a big ass." You talk about a bad, but same thing with him. If they get the guy out, then it's a good thing. And if and people would probably have said, "Oh, we should have jumped on him," then he had him hurt. So it's a gamble.
One thing I saw, Lampley, who was one of the commentators on the fight. He said in the 6th, you told your corner, I'm hurt. When they asked you, when they said, are you okay? You were telling them no. And then whenever a doctor asked you, you said yes. Yeah. That's what Lampley said. Yeah. Do you remember something like that happening?
Yeah, but no, I told the doctor I was fine. But I told him they hurt me.
I mean, he had 100. How many did he land of the 122?
I don't know exactly what the percentage was.
Come on.
I know. I know that.
Sorry, Lou.
I know that overall in the fight. Yeah, exactly. I'm not doing my part.
My bad.
Yeah, sorry. I'm not carrying this. I'm not carrying this segment 100%. I'm sorry. I'm carrying it 90. My bad. But I know for the whole fight, your percentage was higher than his. Yeah. But I mean, he hit. I mean, he connected pretty often.
The guy was just an Adonis in great shape. He was a freak athlete too. I forget what happened to him. Something bad happened. I think he might have went to jail or.
Grant and I were talking about this fight before you got here because you were late, so just
Kim had him torn up.
Yeah,
I got lost, dude. Are you kidding me? I can't find my answer for a 6-man search party.
We'll get into.
Did you ever hear my message on my cell phone?
No, I have not.
The happy man is the man who enjoys the scenery on a detour, because I'm lost all the time, man. I'm happy.
Good.
I like that. Yeah. But he had mentioned something about George Foreman, because Foreman was the commentator. What happened?
So it was in the first round. They were talking about kind of summing up the fight a little bit.
Matchup, yeah.
And Foreman said, he commented, "You're not known for your power." That's what Foreman commented.
Where's that old bastard?
That's what he said. I'm not joking you. They were talking about you and talking about.
Foreman said?
He said his comment was, "You're not known for your power." That's what he
mixed
said.
up with another white guy. So
and I'll say this. What I was going to say, because I told you, Foreman, to me, I don't think he was doing it blatantly. Like, I don't think he was making an effort. But I do feel like he wasn't. I feel like he was being a lot more critical of you in the fight than he was being of Whitaker.
Yeah, because I punched the crap out of him, man, dude. You wouldn't be happy.
Do you think that's some of it?
I don't know. He's a great guy. I can't say anything derogatory about him. He's a great guy. So
for those of y'all just tuning in, we're talking about Lou Savarese fighting Whitaker. You won in a split decision at the end. At the end of this fight,
I thought, that was a cool. Did you see when I got knocked down? That was that was very controversial.
Yes, I was going to ask you about that.
The referee.
Yes.
It was.
I can't remember the guy's name.
Well, his dad was the most famous referee in boxing. The greatest referee was McCanty, right? Was it Arthur McCanty Jr.?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm in the plumbers union. He's in another union. So he was like, but it was a good. It was a good call. But he looked at me and they got mad because they said that he gave me too long of a count.
So I'll let Jeff know. So what the controversy was after the fight, and supposedly Whitaker's corner made a big deal about it.
They did. Yeah.
Is slow count.
He went down on his knee, and the ref comes over and I can see him talking to you, and he's asking you okay?
Yeah.
And he's counting 4, 5, 6. He's getting to 9, and he goes, "Come on, get up." And then you got up.
Yeah.
So supposedly Whitaker's corner said he should not have done that. He should have just gone, that he really was down for a count of 10.
Were you talking to the ref at this time?
Yeah, well, he was telling me, but he shouldn't have. Their beef was saying they shouldn't have told me to get up,
That's what Foreman said after the fight.
But the guy knows I don't count very well, so I was just like, shit.
But he did. I mean, he was going 8, 9, and then that's when you got up. But when you watch it, it looks like you got up at 9. What it looked like was you were strategizing.
I was absolutely.
Because you were waiting until the very last point to get up. Because you were coherent. You were answering his question, everything.
That's a really big part of it, too. You want to max out your, when you're down there, you don't want to jump back up, which I would have done if I was young in my career. I would have just jumped back up. But that, I took as much time as I could. And it worked out great. I mean, it was really a smart move on my part.
David Franciconi, David?
Yeah,
he said, "Go
Lou."
What's up, buddy? He said, "Always classy, just like his brothers." And then John comes back right after that, and your brother John says, "Plumbers Union, you broke the first toilet you ever worked on."
No, that was him from sitting on it.
Is John as big as you?
This is a layup. He's got me in girth. He's got me in girth.
In girth. Oh, man.
He's got a zip code. What's your zip code again? I can't remember. He's got a zip code now. He's a biscuit away from. He's the one that said he was $2.99 for years. There's nobody ever been $2.99.
At one point on the Whitaker fight, I could hear the crowd going, "Lou, Lou, Lou." Can you hear that when you're fighting? Can you hear that?
Not really.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I'm especially in something that extent because you're really, trying to focus on the fight.
Have you ever heard the crowd at a point in a fight say, start screaming? Almost like,
it helps.
People are going to relate it to like the Rocky shit.
No, it pumps you up. And then when I was an amateur, I used to bring huge crowds to the Madison Square Garden, and I remember I'd hear it. I guess I was starting out more, but I would hear a lot of my friends. I could actually know who was yelling because that was probably the biggest thing in my career. I just didn't want to get made fun of, so that's why I get up all the time. I wouldn't stay down. I'd jump.
You
up.
could still hear your trainers. So there's a big thing, when COVID hit, right? They didn't allow fans to come into these matches, UFC and boxing alone. Yeah. And one of the big things with Tyson coming back. Oh, thank you, Johnny J. We get a little drink service. And you want another one, Grant?
Yeah, man. Absolutely.
There you go. One of the big things that comes into effect is you can hear your managers and your trainers because there's not a crowd.
Well, you can, even when you're fighting, you're so in tune with your trainer. I used to hear everything my trainer would say. So.
Oh, so like his voice is already it's just different.
Yeah, and he came to you in the third, basically telling you you're making your corner guy saying you're making a fighter more difficult. You're making the fight more tougher than it needs to be.
Yeah.
Did you feel like that? That was at the third round.
That's a good point. But the thing is that for him, it's a commitment because he's bigger. He's one of the few guys that was bigger and taller than me. So I had to keep coming because I didn't want him backing me up. So that was kind of the game plan. That was keep him backing up, and we did. But I got hurt once.
What was surprising was he went to the corner a lot on his own. Yeah. Like you didn't necessarily have to push him that way. Yeah. And I think was that just because of his young career that he's had?
Yeah, that's a mistake on his part. I don't know. He had his corners, the Goosens brothers, they had, I don't know how many world champions. They had James Toney, Michael Carbajal, a bunch of really good fighters. They were big time at one point, but they were good. So one was the promoter, the other one was the manager, and one was the trainer. And the trainer, Dan Goosens, really good. So.
During your prime, when you fought, I'm assuming Whitaker might have been during your prime. Like, if you take prime as like 4 or 5 years in your career, what was your catch weight? What did you fight good at?
240 was always
240.
That's about where you were.
240, yeah.
Okay, and like there wasn't about. I mean, you're 6'6".
6'5", yeah.
6'5", 6'6", 240, and there's not a lot of fighters bigger than you, right? I mean, but Holyfield, Foreman, Whitaker's bigger.
That era, there was some big Whitaker. But I fought another guy. Whitaker wasn't the biggest. I think Michael Grant was bigger. I'm pretty sure he was put together. Grant was he was a sick athlete. I think he was a college basketball player, but he had lost to he got a big contract with HBO, and then I think he wound up losing to Lennox Lewis.
Richard Murphy said, Lou. I don't know if you remember Richard Murphy. But
I definitely remember.
Yeah, thank you, Richard, for tuning in. Man, Ed, obviously, the Guido, and then Lou's brother, David, Justin. All you guys, thank y'all for tuning in and watching Lights Out with us. You can catch us on our podcast, all the shows. This is show number 7, actually, already, which is interesting. So catch us on the podcast. Just type in "Lights Out with Lou Savarese." We're on YouTube and everywhere you get your podcast. We're available, man. We're sitting over here at Savarese Fight Fit. Man, we got a whole bunch of stuff to get into.
Real quick, I think was he a Met fan?
Who?
Dave Francisconi. I think he was a Met fan.
Dave, were you a Met fan?
I don't know why I'm thinking that.
You'll let us know.
He had that look.
All right, we'll get into it. A big fight coming up this weekend. Obviously, back to the Whitaker fight for 2 seconds. You won the fight in a split decision?
Yeah.
First judge had Whitaker, and then the second and third had.
Did you feel like you won that fight?
Yeah, I thought I won the fight handily. In the sense, the knockdown, that's a 2-point round, but I think I won most of the round.
So if he wouldn't have knocked you down, it probably would have been a unanimous decision.
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Thanks, Lou, for explaining the Whitaker fight. We'll try to go over.
That was a good fight. I mean, that was a brawl.
It's one of the fight I was most proud of because I was able to get back up.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was cool.
Absolutely.
Your brother, we might get into this in a minute, said, ask Lou about fighting in close with Melvin Slim.
Yeah, Slim Young. Wow.
Yeah, so we might be getting into that in a minute. I want to go over this Canelo fight coming up this weekend because we are on a boxing show, and Canelo's probably one of the bigger draws in boxing at the moment.
Unbelievable.
Canelo's fighting Avi Yildirim on Saturday night.
He's a mandatory.
He's a mandatory?
WBC mandatory,
WBC. Yeah, because, I mean, it's a Turkish guy, which I can't remember. Another Turkish
dude.
No, I can't remember.
What was Prince?
He was a Syrian, but in UK, born in the UK.
Okay.
But Syrian.
All right. But, do you know much about this guy?
No, I don't. I do not.
I believe he's undefeated.
Yeah.
Is this a fight that Canelo?
No, okay. He's 21-2.
21-2.
Yeah.
Okay, so after this, he's scheduled after this to fight Billy Joe Saunders, which will do the title unification.
Yeah, and that's a big fight too. So
is this a setup fight?
No, I wouldn't say it's a setup fight. I mean, Canelo himself would be crazy to take a fight that any fight you can lose, but I think this is something just to keep him in the limelight. Keep him out there. But you hear it all the time. You never want to obviously take a guy lightly because you'll see stuff like this all the time. You'll go back and look in history and say, oh, shoot, that was going to be an easy fight for the guy. He wanted to get knocked out or something happened. So, you saw that with Joshua. I mean,
we'll get to the Josh Kelly fight here in a second. Oh, by the way, David said Big Time went to 86 World Series games. He went to Game 6 and 7 Mets World Series.
I knew he was a Met fan. At least with the Red Sox, that'd be worse.
Yeah, true. Do you even have Red Sox friends?
No.
It's like,
At least they don't admit it.
yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, obviously from Houston, not a Red Sox fan at all.
Yeah.
But sitting here with Lou Savarese, obviously just went over the Whitaker fight, and we're discussing the Canelo fight this Saturday against Avani Yildirim. And I asked you to set up fight. You're saying no. I just you said it's sanctioned. I mean, it's a
Well,
must.
I don't say. I mean, it's a fight that. I mean, he's he looks like he's going to win the fight, and but he has to take it. It's a mandatory. But it would be crazy for everybody. The boxing, the powers that be, his promoter. Because for me, I wouldn't want to see him lose. I mean, he's such a big draw. He's such a great fighter. But there's always a chance. I mean, this guy, he's got 2 losses, but he's world class guy. So
Is there any chance? I mean,
Canelo's got a good chin too, though.
yeah. Well, is this going to go 12?
No, I don't think so. I think Canelo will win. Stop
And
him.
and then versus Billy Joe Saunders, which obviously we'll get into in the weeks to come. I think the fight scheduled for May. Is Billy Joe Saunders a good fighter for him?
Saunders. I think Canelo will win, but Saunders is a tough kid, really tough kid.
All right. And then, so we'll go back to a minute ago. You mentioned Josh Kelly. Josh Kelly loses to David Avancian. And from everything that I read, Josh Kelly was an incredible fighter, up and coming, like an amazing young kid, like ready to go, and lost to this guy. And they're saying it was a bad decision by his managers and promoters to put him in this fight because this guy had fought some big names before and knew how to do this and basically wore him out. And Josh Kelly should have been undefeated and going into bigger fights, but now he has a loss.
Yeah, it happens all the time. I mean, you can't, management is such a big part of it. As a fighter, you always say, like, I always think I can beat anybody in the world, and I think most fighters do. They wouldn't be fighting if they didn't. So your manager is the one who's supposed to look out for you or guide your career, and they don't want to get too brave, with you. I mean, look, one mistake is huge on that. If you keep
and I think that's what they were getting at. Is this was because he was such up and coming, like the Josh Garcia kid, right?
Yeah.
So you don't want to put anybody in front of him that could, like, even Josh Garcia getting knocked down a couple weeks ago was a massive ordeal. They were like, "Oh shit!" Ryan Garcia. Sorry,
Yeah, Ryan Garcia.
What?
I
can't keep up with all the names.
It's a boxing show. He needs to know what's going on. Right?
Damn. I'm just let Grant take over the damn show.
No, you're doing good, man. I'm proud of you. Keep going.
Yeah, Grant's like he's got a cousin with a hammer toe over him.
Yeah.
Wow.
He may have somebody he knows.
Maybe I
named
got
Josh
knocked.
Garcia.
Maybe I got knocked out too many times. I don't know. But Ryan Garcia, he went down, and that was a big
Josh's
ordeal.
cousin. Right.
It is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Josh's- God damn.
I guarantee you he has a cousin or somebody named Josh Garcia in the family. So you're on the right track.
All right. My point is that, these fights, is there a fight that you lost that you were like, oh shit, like I shouldn't have lost that, it would have helped out if you would have won that?
There was a fight. Absolutely. It was.
Well, I'm talking like a layup fight. What they're planning on.
No, I didn't lose any layup fights, but I did, fights on 3 occasions. If I would have won, I had a huge, one was obviously I beat Foreman. I was the lineal champion. And then if I beat Izon, I would have had another big fight too. So
Izon was right after Foreman.
Yeah.
Damn, was that your prime?
Izon, yeah, I would think so, yeah.
That was your prime right there, Foreman, Izon,
yeah,
right there.
because Foreman was I fought a lot of guys for HBO. We were fighting, all world-class guys, tough guys.
Yeah, Izon, what's funny about it, when I was watching the fight with Whitaker, going back to that, Izon had, Lampley had even said, after Izon, you had stated that you were going to do a lot more like weight training after Izon. They even made a comment that your back looked a lot bigger against Whitaker than it did against Izon.
Because you can be punch hard. I was always a hard puncher. We want to be physically strong too, and that's what I felt Izon. He was a beast. I mean, just a really strong, physically strong guy. So, and the big thing about boxing or any sport really, but if you get bigger, it's great, but you have to still be able to move it faster. Otherwise, it's it doesn't make sense to get bigger. So that's a big part of it.
So what do you know about Matchroom and Eddie Hearn? Because Eddie Hearn is one of the people responsible for Josh Kelly, and he's also one of the promoters for the Canelo fight coming up.
Yeah, Hearn is. I mean, he's him and you have Hearn. He's in the UK, and then you have oh my God.
You forgot a name? That's interesting.
At least I didn't go out there and just make it up. Harvey felt the snatch. Harvey felt the snatch. Heck of a promoter out of Secaucus.
Hey, you know what? I would have totally believed you 100%.
Yeah, I might have said
Secaucus. Yeah, Secaucus. The kid's guy's good.
What'd you say? What's his last name?
Harvey felt the snatch.
That's scary. I love that name.
We're gonna have a new.
We need to have that guy. Let's like create an Instagram account for Harvey.
Felt the snatch. You don't know Harvey felt the snatch.
No, that's some New York shit.
Yeah. I'm gonna look it up. What if there's a guy out there named that?
Is he friends with Biden?
Yeah,
oh,
probably.
Shit.
Felter snatch. That's fantastic. I'm gonna look that up. Felter snatch.
We got a million. I had a buddy. I don't know if he's on the podcast, but the biggest Jew I ever met. He played football for Temple and the Patriots a little bit, but it didn't really count because it was a strike year. But he would call. I owned the tanning salon here in town. He used to call up, and I'd come in. The girl would say, Dick Kazinia called, Mr. Kazinia, and I'm like, what? She goes, Mr. Kazinia called and left you a message. I'm like, oh my God, I knew it was my friend Todd. He had all these different names he'd call up, but
there is a
Urban Dictionary.
Felter
snatch
is on there.
Look, for real, Felter snatch. Wow. It says usually said after getting laid for bragging rights.
Really? I didn't know that. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Did you just get laid, Lou?
Felter snatch.
Wait, hold on. Go back to
say it in a, here. I'll say it in a sentence.
I don't get the what do you go? I don't get the.
I'll say it in a sentence. Yeah, I felter snatch all night long. That's what it says.
The rap song.
That's like 3 separate words, though.
Yeah.
And not one. It's
I don't know.
It's just one.
It's a Jewish kid. I grew up with. Harvey felt this thing. Felter.
Welcome to Lights Out, y'all.
That's great.
We're digressing.
I love it.
Yeah.
Lights Out with Lou Savarese over here at Fight Fit, man. We're going over a few fights and going over the Canelo fight, the Josh Kelly fight. I've got a question to ask you about this UFC fighter, Rafael Alves, who missed weight by 11.5 pounds.
He wasn't even in the ballpark. That's crazy. And the UFC guys, I saw, I put wrestling first. Wrestling third, boxing second. But the UFC, they cut weight. It's amazing. I told you guys last time, there was a guy, I cornered him, and he had to lose like 19 pounds in 3 days. He's like, I'm right on. I'm like,
but when you weigh in, right? When you weigh in, when you go, okay, so after you weigh in, don't you gain weight like that next 24 hours?
Yeah, but you know that. You're not going to do that. He wouldn't have weighed in after he ate. Something happened. Something happened where he probably missed something in training or
this kid got emotional. Like he got real upset.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe something happened and he couldn't. Couldn't train properly because he's not even in the ballpark.
11.5 pounds is
and you're checking your weight all the time because that's a big part of the thing. And if you don't make weight, did they let him fight or
no? Of course not. He was supposed to fight at 146 and he weighed in at 157.5. Like my question was like, how is that common?
No. No.
1 or 2 pounds. Okay, so for people that don't understand boxing that well or UFC, can you be over or under? And if so, how much?
Well, if it's a championship fight, you can't. Because the commission or the sanctioning body won't let it happen. But if it's because you said something before that the guy was over, but you'd be surprised. I promoted a lot of smaller shows here in Houston, and we're going to be back promoting soon. But there's guys that what they would do. So I'm a promoter, and you got 2 guys here. You flew them in or whatever, and they get there, and the one guy's 4 pounds overweight. So you go to the guy. The commission actually fines them, but what he'll do is he'll actually pay the other. So it's a negotiation. He'll say, I'll pay you. It's usually on a smaller show, $100 a pound or something like that. So to keep the show as a promoter, you want to keep the show going. So you let the guy pay.
What was your secret when it comes to getting to weight? Like, did you have something that you were like
fear? Fear? I always wanted to be in shape. So I think there was one fight where it was just a weird, when I fought Tyson, because I was having my son, and then, so I had a plan where I would be out there after I had my son that was going to be born. I had plenty of time, but it turned out that Tyson got arrested. I forget what happened, so I had my son, and it was, not good timing, whenever I couldn't train
Hey, real quick, speaking of getting arrested, I think we have Aussie Dan on the line.
I forgot all about
Dan Green.
Yeah, Dan Green.
Why you bring up getting arrested?
G'day from Los Angeles, gentlemen. How you all doing?
Good, buddy.
Oh, man, we're good. I can't wait to hear this shit. Dan, what's up, man? How's LA?
LA's great, man. I haven't been arrested yet. So that's a good thing.
I will say this. Today you posted something about some bum that robbed somebody right across from your apartment.
Yeah, he robbed a head shop across the street, stole a bong.
He stole
So there's a guy running down the street with a 1 foot long bong and a knife.
Well, you
LA,
need a bong, you got to get it.
That's
LA. What are you
LA.
going to do about it? You
Well,
got
he
to get
wasn't
it.
running for very long. I think once he used the bong, I think it kind of slowed him down a touch.
I
But
had to get something to eat.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, something to eat.
Dan, you've known Lou for quite a long time. At least tell us a good story.
Oh, come on, man. Jeez.
I get it
Look
about
at
Lou.
you.
Lou's such a good guy, man. Lou makes me look small. That's the problem, man. I got a picture of me and Lou from back in 2010. I was helping to promote a fight, and I look like a midget next to Lou.
A midget.
Yeah, I'm 6'3", but Lou's 6'5", and that's barefoot.
I might be shrinking a bit now. I'm getting up there.
I think Lou was wearing some big ass cowboy boots or something like that. 'cause I
No,
look
that
like
wasn't me. I don't wear cowboy boots, buddy.
Oh, you're not a cowboy boot
Well,
guy?
I got one pair once and they dry rotted because I never wore them. I'm just not a cowboy boot guy. It doesn't I don't know. Didn't fit my
What
style.
kind of boots did you get that dry rotted?
They were Stingray boots, but I didn't wear them for so long.
Dan, it sounds like you're smoking
Yeah,
weed over there.
we got Darth Vader on the phone.
are you
Darth Vader, how
breathing?
you?
I'll get away from that. Don't worry, my bad.
Take the microphone out of your mouth.
Did you steal the bong, Dan?
No, man, I just got a new microphone. Let me turn my gain back a little bit.
All right. Well, we were talking about the Whitaker fight, and then you had mentioned something on social media about the Paul brothers, Logan Paul and John Paul. So what do you got for us?
Man, I watched the Whitaker fight today, actually.
Did you?
I watched the whole 10 rounds of that fight today. Lou's a machine, mate. That's a 6'8" guy right there. Mount Whitaker. Oh my God.
It was put together.
That's a fucking bounce. I'm a bouncer, man. That's a bouncer's nightmare. I'll kick that guy in the nuts straight away. You can't kick him in the nuts in a boxing ring, but that's my plan with someone that size.
That dude was a monster. That's why I said, and he was leaning on you. That's got to wear you out.
Yeah, that's what he did. He was smart. That's very smart, being that big. And I was trying not to lean on him too much, so I could. When he was pushing me back, I would try and step over, so I didn't do it too much. But he was strong.
I tried to get some Vegemite, Dan. I couldn't find it here in Houston. I was gonna have Lou eat some Vegemite while you were on. For those of y'all that don't know, comedian Dan Green joining us from L.A. He's obviously Australian. Wow, damn dude.
Dan, I got my series.
No, he could be New Zealand, Australian. Is New Zealand Australian? I guess is that. Can you make a difference of that, Dan? Could someone listen to you and say, "Oh, that dude's Australian or New Zealand"?
I'm getting off air.
I can't mispronounce my vowels enough to sound like a New Zealander.
Can you do?
you.
Hold on, Dan. Can you do an American accent?
Yeah. Oh, that's a great question. Let's hear American Dan.
You know what? Here's my stance on the American accent. I'm hesitant.
Okay.
Because remember when your mum used to tell you when you were little, if you made a face and the wind changed, it would stay that way?
Yes.
Well, after 18 years in America and not having picked up your bullshit accent, I'm worried that if I put one on, it's going to stick and I'll be stuck with it.
Okay.
Yeah, nice.
But
that's bullshit
problem
accent.
is
What's that?
No, sorry. But here's the thing.
Proper English.
What happens with Aussies is we find ourselves crossing dialects. So I'll put on an American accent, which I think is Southern, but it'll sound Texas, Louisiana, and a little bit of Florida all in one accent, which is just so wrong. It's the same way when you guys try and do British accents, and you end up sounding like you're from 3 parts of London at once.
Oh yeah, that's a great question. Hey Jeff, do you have a British accent or Australian accent? Can you do that?
I think. Well, hold on. Now.
He was about to do it, Dan. You should have seen him. He was about to.
Let him fly. Come on.
Yeah, let's go.
I definitely will.
He won't do it, Dan. Come on, man. You can't ask Dan to do it and not do it yourself.
Well, Dan didn't even fucking do it.
That's a good point.
I had an acting part once. I had to be a Southern degenerate. It was on.
Was that on the script? It said Southern Degenerate?
Southern Degenerate. Yeah, I'm serious. It did.
Yeah.
It was called Prison Break, and my character's name was Teabag. It was terrible.
Teabag?
Yeah, but I'm not kidding.
Holy shit! What?
I'm not kidding. Remember, it was with what's his name? It was like Prison Break. It became a show on HBO. But
Yeah, I know.
I
what
almost
you're
got the
talking
part. It was so I do. I think
You didn't get the part?
No, I got close to getting it though because it was the third callback, and I was like, "Oh my goodness, I don't know if I want my kids knowing this." My dad teabag. I felt really bad.
Well,
but my line was, I was in the cell with the guy, and I said, "Well, we can do this by love, or we can do this by we can do this by love, or we can do this by war. But one way or another, I'm gonna light up your leather donut. And I was like, what is that? And I was reading with my acting coach, and he said, you can't do this. I said, why? He goes, leather donut. I go, what do you mean? He goes, that's this. Anyway,
I can see why you didn't get it.
Yeah. That's why I get it.
I mean, it goes in line with Lou's the next gym that Lou's opening.
Here.
See, hold on here. See, I'll jump in right now with my.
That's teabag.
Is that teabag?
You gotta watch it. You gotta watch out for teabags, leather donuts. That's what you gotta watch out for.
There it is. That was a good one.
Yeah, that was good. I like that.
Hey, big question for Lou. I was watching that Whitaker fight. The big thing that struck me about that whole fight when I was watching it was at the beginning of every round, Lou started in the middle of the ring, which is pretty fucking intimidating. If you're the other fighter and you look up and the referee says fight, and you're already standing in the middle of the ring, he's already halfway to you.
Yeah, I did
that. Is that something you consciously did in every fight, or was it just that fight?
That fight a lot because he was young, and I thought I would try and psych him out. It didn't really work, but
No, I think it worked. I mean, that's a great question. I mean, because you could tell watching that fight. I don't know if you saw this, Dan, but you could tell watching that fight who was the experienced fighter and who wasn't.
Well, absolutely. With the that's how I won that fight because of having experience. Otherwise, I would have never did that. But early in my career, I would have jumped back up. But I took time and I took a knee, and it worked out. In retrospect, it worked out great.
Yeah.
Dan,
that was a smart.
What's up with your Vegemite shit, man? I see you got some famous comedians on there. What are you
dude,
doing?
You're blowing up, Dan.
It's been going well, man. I mean, with my working at the Laugh Factory, I'm interviewing John Cleese's daughter tomorrow from John Cleese from Monty Python.
Yeah.
His daughter's a comic as well.
He's a Brit
so
too, right?
We're giving her the Vegemite treatment tomorrow.
There you go.
And we got some big ones coming up, man. It's going to be really cool. I think we're on to something. We're in talks with Vegemite back in Australia to get some corporate backing behind it, and it's finally starting to take notice with a few people. But so far, only one comic has really enjoyed the experience, and that was Jamie Kennedy.
Oh, that's sweet,
Cool.
I think Jamie's wired a little bit differently. I'm not quite exactly sure how he got into it, but he loved
Don't forget the little guys when you make it big. With
Yeah,
the Vegemite.
please.
Yeah,
You're big now.
We're over here, just
I'll drive the limo.
Yeah. So Dan, talk about that. Like, what's the trajectory you think at this point? Like, what are you looking at career wise as far as your growth, and like, what are you trying to get into?
Well, it's funny, mate. I just started a new podcast called The Verbal Gym, and that's exactly it's the Verbal Gym, not the Gym. This is the Verbal Gym where people work out their shit.
That's awesome.
And we're basically interviewing comedians who are hustling their ass off out here, and basically giving people an insight into how much hard work this is. And basically, the whole idea of trying to break the comedy community in Los Angeles is basically like standing in front of a wall and punching it every day and not getting any kind of indentation, and coming back the next day and doing the same thing with a broken hand and going, okay, I'm going to keep hitting this fucking wall until it cracks.
Right.
And then when it cracks, I'm going to hit it again and again and again. You know you can crack the wall, you just don't know how long it's going to take. So it's just a matter of continually just work, and that's how the path is set up out here.
Respect for you, man. That's good.
What does this show consist of?
persevere.
Oh, sorry. That sounds interesting. What does this show consist of? The one you said you did?
The Verbal Gym.
Verbal Gym. That's pretty cool.
The Verbal Gym. Yeah. Well, like I said, I've handpicked the hardest working comedians, up and coming comedians in LA, and we sit down and break down their hustle and see what it takes from those guys.
Sorry, man.
What's that?
I was going to ask you. I don't know about you, but I can't stand emojis. Like, I think it's for people that can't have no jokes. Like, they just use emojis. Like, they can't think of something witty to say. It really makes me angry.
Where the
emojis?
Plus, I text really bad.
Where the hell did that come from?
Yeah, that was.
He's saying the verbal gym, and he's talking about stepping your game up. It's just like now.
So you hate emojis?
Yeah, because you can't now. I'm back in the dating scene and stuff, but girls are saying, I want to show them my game, a little poetry or something. No, they want to see emoji. I mean, that's not very, whatever happens. And everybody wants to text. I'm like, oh my God. I hate that. I stutter when I text.
I'm against emojis, and I'm against people who use them.
Thank you. Oh,
dude, you know what we should do?
It's like people don't have a sense of humor. Sorry,
I tell you what, everybody that's watching the show and listening right now, this week I'm going to create a fucking Lou Savarese emoji.
Do not.
Yes, I'm going to create a Lou Savarese emoji. And we're going to send that shit everywhere. I'm going to send it to you with every one of my text messages.
Hey, everybody, if you know how to get a hold of Lou, emoji the shit out of him.
Stop.
Emoji him like crazy.
I'm not really into
Hey Lou, you
Yeah,
know
man.
a guy who can kneecap both these bastards, mate. Anytime you want to give me a call, mate.
Real quick, Dan's got the Verbal Gym, and I love what he's doing for the comedy like aspect of it in LA. Because Lou himself spent how many days in your car before you got an apartment?
It's in his car. I don't
No,
know.
Dan spent, what is it, 320 days? How many days?
Oh, no, I did 269.
269 days he slept in his car behind behind a shop like in LA before he actually got an apartment.
During the pandemic.
Yeah. So
Must have met some nice guys.
Dan's been Dan's been through some shit. But hey, Dan, we appreciate you calling in,
Yeah,
man. I'm
Dan,
sorry,
you're
like we
the
got
man,
you know.
Man,
we're
I
doing
don't
the
see
thing.
you West Coast, but I don't know. I guess I don't know. So,
Well, that's cool. Just make sure you guys check out the Verbal Gym. It's on Apple Podcasts and it's on Spotify.
definitely check it out.
And check out G'day from LA on Facebook with 3 A's, and that's where you'll find my show, Are You My Veggie Mate?
There you
Absolutely.
go. All
You know,
right.
the vowels in the New York vowels, right? A-E-I-O-U. Yeah.
Hey, mate, I get stuck for Boston all the time. People think I'm a fucking Southie, man, because I
that's
put my
bad.
car
Oh,
in a
geez.
parking lot.
don't know.
That's fighting. Somebody calls you thinks you're from
Yeah,
Boston.
absolutely.
I would fold their teeth back.
Fellas, it's been great today. Thanks for letting me come on and have a yarn.
Always,
I appreciate
always.
it.
You're
Love
the
you.
man, Dan.
Love you, Dan. Have fun.
Good work, buddy.
All right, bro.
Cheers, fellas. Bye.
So I've learned a segment that we need to do every now and
What
then.
is it?
We need to hear Lou poetry.
Oh, gee.
Oh, we could do that.
Lou wants to do poetry.
I
We
did
need to
not
hear
say
Lou
that.
poetry. That's
I
what
did
you
not say
said.
that.
Hey,
said I do,
and
but
like
brother.
we'll have Johnny put up the emoji, like
Oh,
picture
shit.
of him.
Absolutely.
The emoji
No,
Lou.
no,
poetry.
No.
We need to hear Lou poetry.
What's the Saturday Night Live skit they did?
Which one?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I know where you're going
What
at.
is it? Deep Thoughts.
Yeah, Deep Thoughts by Jack Handy.
Well, yeah, we'll do Deep Thoughts.
Deep
with
Thoughts
Lou.
by Lou Savarese.
What?
Next week. Next
That's-
week.
Dude, I'm writing it down right now, bro.
Deep Thoughts by Lou
You get such a
Savarese.
stigma about you when you're a boxer, and so it's not very hard.
Hey, well, I mean, you're the one that has the poetry, so don't make it too, don't make it too soft.
I'm securing up for my
All right, listen.
Just so you know, I'm going to emoji the shit out of you.
Yeah, to be awesome.
Stop emoji,
Let's get
man.
into some history.
I love
with,
emojis. Ooh, I love emojis. Come on, keep it going. Oh my God.
Let's get into some history with Grant. Go over some what happened this week in boxing history.
Yeah, dude, we got a little bit. We got a little bit, and a couple people I'd like to get Lou's opinion on. But it's funny. We always talk about how long rounds used to be back in the day.
Fights. Yeah.
February 20th. So we're dealing with. We do this, and so everybody knows we do with boxing history because we do this at one time a week. We do it for the week. So February 23rd, 1906, Tommy Burns beats Marvin Hart in 20 rounds for the heavyweight boxing title. Can you imagine going 20 rounds with somebody?
I could. I mean, I loved going more rounds. I mean, that was my forte. Being in shape, it was good. That was a good thing. But 20 rounds, that's just crazy. I've always wanted to do something. Maybe you guys can bring it to fruition. I always wanted to do, before I get too old and die, but I always wanted to do like a sparring session for 22 rounds for all the soldiers that take their lives, 22.
That's nice.
22 soldiers
Nice,
a day. Yeah, I
dude.
always wanted to do that. But I wanted to try and do it before I get too old.
Could you?
Let's get that going.
That leads just into my question. How many rounds could you go? 3 minutes. How many rounds could you go competitively right now?
Oh, I don't know, maybe 8 rounds. I mean, it depends who you're fighting and stuff too. But I'm the thing is, I'm really relaxed in there. That's the big thing. That's what you look at Foreman. We talked about it before, but if you looked at him at his early in his career, where the knock on him was he couldn't go 4 or 5 rounds. You look at him when he fought me, or 20 years later, he could do 10 rounds in his sleep because he was so relaxed. That's a big part of it,
Yeah.
Why is John saying ask Lou why or how what Mitch why Mitch Green wouldn't fight you?
Well, I have no idea. Mitch Green.
I don't know. He said.
I used to spar him all the time.
Did you?
Yeah, he had some issues. That guy. Oh my God, he was crazy. He actually had one of the coolest holdups ever.
Holdups.
Yeah, he robbed the gas station.
The coolest holdup.
Yeah, listen. He listen.
Is there a ranking for that?
listen.
Like the top 10 coolest holdups
Listen
ever?
to this. He held up a gas attendant, and when he was holding him up, somebody came up to have the gas pumped. He tied the guy up, And he pumped the guy's gas. He's like, oh, shit, I'm making some money now. So he just kept pumping the gas until somebody came in and recognized him. I mean, he was crazy. He got arrested because
he was taking people's money and just pumping gas.
But he had the guy tied up, the gas attendant tied up.
Oh, my God.
And then he got...
So he was like he was like watching over the gas station.
Yeah, he was just going to rob the guy, but then he actually robbed him and said, this isn't bad. I'm going to just keep collecting money. But it's not like he's very inconspicuous. The guy's like 6'7" with Jerry curls. He's a big dude. But he also... He got, I don't know if he got arrested, but I know he got a ticket for, he had his TV on his dashboard. He used to watch the TV. He got in trouble for that. He was crazy.
On the dashboard of a car?
Yeah.
Jeez.
They just have him in the cars now.
So let me ask you this. Out of the top 10 holdups, what would you rank that one?
He's there with the Rikers guy that was not supposed to be in there for 8 years.
Oh no! We got a guy on this podcast right now, probably listening, Mr. Patrick, and he had a good one too. He robbed a.
Oh, dude, Patrick!
I think he robbed a. Was it a cop car or lumber truck? Lumber truck. Robbed a lumber truck, and the cops chased him and were shooting at him when he was.
Damn,
Patrick! I see you. You just commented about Patty. He said, "Tell Lou that Patty's got you a leather emoji donut hanging down."
Oh, no. That's disgusting.
I love this Patrick guy. We got to get Patrick on the show.
There was a prison called Rikers Island. They used to say his nickname was Kimball's. You know why it was Kimball's?
Why?
You take Kimball's to Gimbals, you get what you want. I'm serious. What I said.
Gimbals is a store.
Gimbals was a store.
Yeah.
I was on a construction site one day, and where we lived, he said, some guy said, "Hey man, you know Patrick Hewell?" I said, yeah, of course. He goes, "Oh man, we call him Kimball's." I said, "Why?" I said, "You take Kimball's to Gimbals, you get what you want." I seen him steal a watermelon once. True story. Went in, stole a watermelon. We were hungry. And I said, "How are we gonna cut it?" He went back in and stole a knife. True story.
So he left and then went back in.
Yeah, went back in.
Patrick,
hey man, you need a knife.
On.
You need a knife.
Yeah. Love it. All right, let's go.
They put a store out of business, a lumber store, and because they just take all the magazines.
This dude's awesome. We need to talk to this guy.
Dude, Patrick's got to call in one of these days.
We got to talk to this guy.
He's the one-man entourage.
February 23rd, 1938, Joe Louis retains his world heavyweight boxing title by knocking out Nathan Mann in round 3 at Madison Square Garden. That was the second defense by Louis at that time.
Yeah, that's early on in his career. I wonder how many defenses he had. God, Louis kept fighting.
I saw that.
The cool thing was when Louis fought Marciano. Marciano felt so bad. Louis was kind of past his prime, and you'll see the fight if you watch. It's really cool. Marciano knocked him out, went over and picked him up, was hugging him. It was really sweet.
And this is actually...
What's really sweet is Grant's computer just ping, said, "My sweetie." I guess his wife.
Yeah, my wife.
She
texted, yeah. All she said was K.
Yeah. Your wife had a weird mustache.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, man.
Hey, we try our best to hide that, okay? We try our best. February 23rd,
My brother's birthday. He just turned 60.
Oh, yeah.
He's on 60.
Happy birthday, John.
Happy birthday, man.
Yeah. That was Charles.
Charles.
Yeah, Charles actually a little bit.
I didn't know you had another one. Oh, by the way, before you get going,
Yeah.
Mike Indry says, "Tell my man,
Mike.
tell my man Lou, hey from New Jersey." So appreciate you watching Big Mike.
He was the chief of police in Jersey City.
Why didn't he arrest Patrick?
He wasn't in Jersey. Patrick's in New York.
That's a good question.
Okay, never mind.
All right, so go ahead. What are you gonna say?
Patrick's family was the last white family left in the Queensbridge projects.
Damn.
Damn.
Yeah, it was a rough area.
Patrick, come on, bro.
I don't know if I would
gotta
fight
talk to this
Patrick.
guy.
Patrick sounds like he beat
he
the
don't
shit
fight.
out of
He
some
don't
people.
fight clean. He bit a guy's finger off, swallowed it. True story. He bit the guy's finger, swallowed it, and then the guy's dad's deathbed, the dad that looked at him and said, "I can't believe you let that guy bite your finger off and died."
No, but you said he swallowed it.
He did. He swallowed it.
Oh, Jesus.
I mean, like,
he bit this guy, Bill LeBar's finger off at the bar we hang out. He bit his finger off and he swallowed it.
holy shit,
Bro,
No pun intended.
Patrick's got
Patrick,
Patrick,
God
you come on the
damn.
show,
I think
Patrick.
he's
We're flying you in.
Jeez. Yeah, Lou said.
Bill LeBarge.
Mike, you didn't hear any of that. Big Mike, you didn't hear any of that.
He's retired. He's a great guy.
All right, February 23rd. I don't know how to transition from biting and swallowing a finger to this.
Mike actually, he also had he may still have it. It was for retired boxers, a fund and everything. It was really cool. He used to put it together. That's where I met him originally.
Really?
Oh, Justin said he would love to hear Patty call in. I got a feeling we'd have to have a whole show for,
it would have to be a
Patrick
Patty show.
Like,
Because
shit.
what's crazy is like
they moved up from Queens. They made up this whole they had a different language. They used to say like some.
I would be good with just the story for my life of biting a guy's finger off and swallowing it, and that was just one of a few that you've said. You know what I mean? Like
No,
if
he
that's
goes
the
back
one.
in the store for a knife.
I know.
Oh, what you need?
That goes-
Hold on.
Yeah.
He's one of how many? I think it's 11 or 12 Irish kids. They were a bunch of them.
Jeez.
So he's the guy from Boondock Saints.
What's Boondock Saints?
Oh shit! If y'all are paying attention, New
I
York,
know what you're talking about.
Boondock Saints. Like
I know
this
what you're
dude,
talking
he's the guy that the quintessential Irish guy that just doesn't give a flying fuck.
And he had a beautiful girlfriend named her name was Bernadette.
Bernadette?
Yeah, she was about, I'd say, a good 350, probably 350. Yeah. No, but a solid 350 at that. Yeah.
I like how you clarified that.
Yeah,
It's solid though.
She's big bone.
It's solid.
She's big bone.
She's big boned.
Yeah, he used to say
Oh, my
that.
God.
He never admit to it. but
Dude,
he
we're
said
gonna
it.
get in trouble.
She's one of those kind where you say, you know, like, oh, she's a good kid.
Oh, yeah.
She's a good kid.
She's the sweetest girl.
She's sweet.
Bless her
She's
heart.
real sweet. She-
Bless her heart.
She's a good
she's
kid.
A doll. She's a doll.
Oh man, let's get through some history.
All right. One more. February 23rd, 1989. Panamanian boxing legend Roberto Duran won his 4th world title in different weight divisions when he beat Iran Barkley in 12-round split decision in Atlantic City.
I can't believe you brought that up. That's Barkley's a great guy. That was one of the best fights. He was training here. We trained together, and I just sent the video to him yesterday. He's not doing very well. He's got COVID.
Oh.
He's in the
really?
hospital.
Wow.
Yeah, great
Prayers
guy.
out to you.
What a warrior, man. Barkley was just double tough, man. So hopefully, I sent him a video yesterday. Hopefully he's going to be all right. But, that was a war. I remember that fight watching. It was a really good fight. And that was the first time that Duran moved up to that weight. You know, he was fighting, and he won the title at that weight. That was a really big deal.
Well, I love the picture of
close
it.
fight,
I love the picture of it. I mean, that just looks right there. That just looks like
it was a great fight. I remember watching it. He trained here for that. Barkley trained in Houston for that. He was with Mrs. Abercrombie too, HBA, and the same manager.
Yeah.
Bob Spagnola was his manager.
Well, old Scott Herbert says she had a great personality, right? So
Well, there you go.
there
you go.
That's,
Great personality.
Yes,
That's
she
what you
did.
want.
that's
And she had a nickname, but we're not going to go there.
shit. Look, I think
We've done enough.
I think he logged off. Like,
No, a nickname was
We've done enough for this girl.
hey, look, we got something special going on this weekend. We've got a meet and greet tonight over at Sporting Club over here in Washington because Lou is going to judge a Victoria's Secret contest this weekend
God,
here.
darn it, I have to.
No, you have to, bro.
okay.
You have to.
Okay. No.
We're going to be down there. It is at. I think Johnny's going to put it up here.
Guido called. Guido
Guido
Lou. He called him. He's got a missed call from Guido.
Oh, Guido already called. He's like, shut up.
I just prayed that Bernadette didn't call him. Oh, shit. That'd be terrible.
There'll be a Victoria's Secret contest this weekend down at Decorum here in Houston. We're going to leave here after the show. We're going to go over to Sporting Club. We'll go meet and greet.
That's
a lot of people are
neat
going
spot. I went there recently. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, we're going to go meet a bunch of people over there. And obviously, we've got a show. We've got a little lingerie Victoria's Secret thing we got to do this
hate when that
weekend. So
happens.
I know.
Somebody's got to do it.
Somebody's
got to do it, man.
So we're stoked
good
about
kids.
that. Any final thoughts on the show, Grant?
That was great.
Well, no, I had some stuff here, but I wanted to ask you about one. February 25th, 1995. British. And I don't mean to bring the energy down, but British super middleweight Nigel Benn put opponent Gerald McClellan in a hospital.
Did you? Oh man! So McCullum was one of my really good friends, and we were always. It was either. That's crazy that you say this because remember I told you guys the other day I was on with 20 Olympians.
Yeah, you had Roy Jones. You were talking to Roy Jones.
Roy Jones. So Roy and Gerald used to have the best fight. This is crazy. I got chill bumps because I just told a guy today, DeMarcus, he's one of our trainers here. He's like, he knows everything about boxing. It's bizarre. We got to get him on here. But I was telling him, you got to watch McCullum fight. McCullum's, he fought Nigel Benn, but Gerald, he was amazing, man. Country guy, but he could fight. And he was supposed to be on that call with us, but I think he might have passed, but he was in a coma, I think 8 years or something. He fought this guy, Nigel Benn, was doing great and just got hit the wrong way and never came out.
So it was just one hit, just the wrong
One
way,
hit, yeah,
wrong
yeah.
like.
Well, so just so everybody knows, McClellan was put into a coma. As a result of the fight, McClellan was blind
I think he passed.
Hearing impaired,
Yeah.
suffered short-term memory loss, and needed to use a wheelchair.
Man, boxing is
that's what I say.
unbelievable.
I always
man.
say you don't play boxing. I mean, it's not,
Yeah.
listen, you can go in there and not to be, but I always knew I could die, and then I was ready. I would have died for my fight.
That's
in my
crazy.
fight
And
2
I always
months
tell
ago.
people about the show when they ask about Lou, like, what's Lou like? I'm like, man, there's not a lot of people you meet that remember as much as you do. And you always tell me, boxing, a lot of people have CTE or they forget, they have Alzheimer's, and you are a wealth of knowledge. You remember things back, like when you're talking about Patrick, and you're talking about these things that happened back when you were a kid, and you remember names, places, everything. You remembered his girlfriend's name.
Right.
Like I can't tell you
Right.
my girlfriend's name from like two years ago.
2 weeks ago.
Stop it. Oh my God, we're gonna get out of here.
How about those Astros?
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, but I did want to say real quick. So this week, February 24th, Floyd Mayweather Jr. It's his birthday, February 24th, which is today, actually. So his
Is
birthday
he the
today,
greatest
Floyd
ever,
May-
Lou?
No.
So
I
in
mean,
your-
he's great. Listen, he's great. I put him top 5, which is amazing. Best.
In your opinion, who's the greatest ever?
Sugar Ray Robinson. Just,
Sugar. I think we discussed that before.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and then
Robinson.
and then tomorrow's the
greatest heavyweight was probably
anniversary.
Joe Louis.
Tomorrow's the anniversary death of February 25th, 1994, Jersey Joe Walcott.
Yeah, well, Walcott. They don't know how old he was when he was fighting. I didn't really have obviously birth certificates back then and stuff, but he fought for a long time. He could punch. Oh my God! When Marciano knocked him out, he felt bad too, and he was a little bit older, Walcott, but that was a big win for he. If you look at this, it's a famous. See if you can pull it up real quick. It's a famous photograph. He distorted. He broke Walcott's jaw, and it was distorted. And the guy actually got a shot of it while it was being broke. It was crazy. And back then, think about it. What year was that? Probably in the 30s or 40s.
Yeah.
And he got this amazing shot.
Well, hey, it's 9:00, y'all. We want to
I'm not ready to
give.
go. I'm just getting warmed up, dude.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
I mean, well,
No, I'm just, I don't wanna-
we got to go somewhere. We got to head
y'all
over.
got somewhere
We've
to
got
be.
an engagement
We
at
got
Sporting
somewhere
Club.
to
We're
be.
going to do a meet and greet. For those of y'all that are listening and paying attention tonight, we will be over at Sporting Club in about an hour and a half for the Victoria's Secret lingerie contest meet and greet. Lou Savarese
I'll
will
see
be
it.
over there. Myself, I'll be there too. I don't know about Grant, but Johnny J will be there as well. And we'll
Johnny
be there.
won't miss anything like that. He'll be there, 100%.
And the show's going to be Saturday night, man. We're excited to be a sponsor for that. It's one of our first things in being the show. And man, episode 6 in the books.
Thank you, guys. Good job.
God, I love it, man.
This
Love
is
it.
awesome. Thanks,
Love it.
Lou.
So, boom, 9:00 for myself, Jeff Michael, Grant Miles, and Lou Savarese. We will see you next Wednesday. We out.
We out. Yeah.